Okay, one of the other things you're asked to do is, or often asked to do, is to make a drop-down list for suitable bits of data. So you can't do a drop-down list for everything. Basically what we're asking you to do is find something that would be applicable or suitable to have a drop-down list on. So something with multiple choice. Age could work, although it could end up being quite a big drop-down list depending on your target audience in this case. The gender column here with male and female, that works perfectly. This preference for either a game or an animation works. Anything with yes or no, so these are yes, no's or not answered. Hours, sleep and night, again I would probably avoid that because of the number of different numbers you can have in there. Activities, there is a limit to the number of activities listed, but you would have to go through and pick those out. And game player movement, there's only 2 options there, so that's also really good for a drop-down list. So I'll use this one as the example, but you might do this a few times. Essentially, what you do is you highlight where you want the drop-down list to be. So in my case, it's all of these cells. Okay, but not the heading. Look, I started just below the heading, I did that. So once they're highlighted, go back up to our data tab up here. So data is used for manipulating and sorting the data. Now, a drop-down list is a form of validation, so it's in the data validation menu. If I click on the bottom half, I can click data validation. And in here, it's telling me at the moment that it will allow any value into those boxes, which is fine. If I change that to list, and essentially, I can now put in here what I want to appear in my drop-down list. So the 2 options are WASD. Notice I put it in capitals so it matches. And then I want to separate my items with a comma. So I use a comma to say this is now another item. And then I do arrow keys. Oh, I was holding shift as I pushed that. Arrow keys. If I had a third option, I'd push comma and I would type something else. But I don't, so I've only got 2. I'm happy with that. This again would be my screenshot I would show to the examiner if I'm keeping track of what I'm doing. Click OK. And if you look, you click in any one of these now, there's a drop-down list. And that's all there is to making a drop-down list. You can do that on here, 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 and here if you were using this one as your example, but you've got your coursework, so you've got to identify which section